You are 7 years old. Your mother is shaving your head in front of you. She is doing it because if she does not, the men outside will, and they will not be gentle. And after today, she will not be the one who fastens your sandal in the morning anymore. The city is. They call her a Spartan, and she calls herself one, and she will not weep where you can see it. She finishes. She kisses you once. She steps back. And then you walk out the door of the only house you have ever known, into the hands of the men who will spend the next 23 years turning you into a hoplite. You will not see this door again until you are old enough to die for the city. You are a Spartiate. You are a boy. From this morning, those two words are at war inside you. The first one wins. The land you stand on is farmed by helots, a conquered serf population who outnumber your kind by perhaps 7 to 1. For every one of you, there are 7 of them. They grow the wheat your mess will eat. They sleep with knives under their beds. Every autumn, the E4s stand up and formally declare war on them, so that when you are sent out one night with a dagger to kill the strongest of them in their own fields, it will not be called murder. It will be called policy. The agōgē, the upbringing they are about to put you through, is the engineering answer to that math. 2 centuries after you, this will collapse. By the time Aristotle counts them, there are barely 1,000 Spartiates left. You will not see this house again for 13 years. By the time the city gives you back to anyone, you will not be the same animal. You will have stolen food to live and been beaten for being caught, walked barefoot through a winter river, knelt at an altar that took the skin off your back, killed a man in a wheat field at night with no one watching, and eaten broth made from boiled blood with your mouth shut. And only then, at 30, the city will hand you a round bronze shield with a lambda on it and tell you what your mother told you when she finished shaving your head. Come home with this, or on it. Level 1, the taking. You are 7. They put you in a herd. 20 boys your age, an older youth, a buagos, a herd leader responsible for you, the way a shepherd is responsible for sheep, which is to say he can hit you. There are no parents. There are no soft beds. The first night you sleep in a hall on reeds, you cut yourself from the river, and the older boys come around in the dark to make sure you understand. Your mother is not coming. The man with the staff is your father now. And the only safety in this room is the boy next to you. The first week you cry. The first month you learn not to. By the first winter, the boy you cry for is not your mother. It is the boy in the herd who froze last night and is not at the wall in the morning. Level 2, the cloak. At 12, they take what little you had and give you 1 cloak, 1 for the year, summer and winter. You sleep in it, you eat in it, you bleed and sweat in it. You go barefoot into a Eurotas winter where the river runs gray with sleet, because the city has decided that feet that learn to grip stone in the cold grip a battlefield better. They underfeed you on purpose. If you want more, you steal it. Plutarch, writing 500 years later, says they were beaten not for stealing, but for being clumsy about it. That is the Spartan story about itself. The truth is simpler. A society that built a whole boyhood around hunger as a teacher. You eat the chicken cold in a ditch with your 1 cloak pulled over your head, and you understand for the first time that the city has not forgotten about you. It is feeding you the slowest way it knows how, by making you a thief. Level 3, the altar. At 14, they take you to a goddess. Her name is Artemis Orthia, and her sanctuary is a low temple on the Eurotas. What happens on the altar? There is an endurance ordeal, grown men with rods, in front of the priestess and a small crowd who came to watch, and the contest is simple. Who flinches first? Boys have broken on this altar. Boys have come down off this altar walking, and never said a word about it for the rest of their lives. Endurance, in your city, is not a quality you have. It is a religion. By the time you come down off the stone, you are bleeding in lines from your shoulders to the small of your back, and one of the older men reaches out and touches your shoulder the way no one has touched you in 7 years. And you understand that you have just passed something. You will carry those lines under your tunic for the rest of your life. Level 4, the Cryptia. At 18, they pick a few of you. They do not tell you why. They take you one evening to the edge of the city, give you a single short dagger and a darker cloak, and they tell you the same thing every Spartan boy hears the night he is chosen. You are not here for the year. Disappear. Live off what you can take. Sleep in ditches. Do not be seen on the road by day. And out in the helot villages, the strong ones, the leaders, the ones who could organize something if the city ever went weak, you know what to do. Whatever the city wanted, it got. Modern scholars still argue what the Cryptia really was. The script does not adjudicate. You come back to the agōgē at the end of the year, thinner, harder, quieter. You sleep with the hunger awake, the cold awake, the dagger awake. You have a thing you do not talk about. You have a way of walking through a field at dusk that the boys who were not chosen do not have. Level 5, the mess. At 22, they let you eat with them. It does not sound like much. It is everything. The sisisha is the common mess of adult, spartiates 15 men to a table, sharing one bowl, and you cannot be a full citizen unless they let you in. You are voted on. One man in 15 can blackball you, and that is the end of it. No mess, no citizenship, the agōgē for nothing. You stand at the door while they vote, and you hope the boys you froze with for 15 years are at the table speaking for you. They let you in. You sit down. Someone hands you a black bowl. In it is melazomos, the black broth pork boiled down in its own blood and vinegar, and you eat it without flinching, because that is the test. The older men laugh at something one of them just said. You laugh. You eat. You realize for the first time, slowly, that you are inside the wall the agōgē was building between Spartiate and everything else has closed up behind you, and you are on its inside. Level 6, the phalanx. At 25, they take you to the drill ground and put a great round shield on your left arm, the hoplon, for the first time, the Lacedaemonian lambda painted across its face in deep red, 20 pounds of bronze dropping your left shoulder. They put a doris, the long-thrusting spear, in your right hand. And they teach you the only thing the years before this were really for, how to stand shield to shield with the man next to you so tight that the city behind both of you becomes a single moving wall. You are not a soldier. You are a tile in a wall. If he runs, you die. If you run, he dies. 5 years of close-order drill teach your feet a step that is not yours. It is the city walking. And then one summer they march you out to a battle on a dusty plain. The two walls walk into each other at a slow, heavy pace, and you find out in about a minute what every year since the haircut has been training your body to do. You do not break. The man next to you does not break. The other line breaks first. Level 7, the choice. At 30, they call you a man. They give you back a kind of life, a wife you have visited at night for years now, the small house your kleros earned you, a seat at the mess of your own, but they do not give you back time because the rest of your life is on call. The city can call you up to the line whenever it wants you, and you will be in armor with the lambda inside 3 days. And one of those days in your 40s, the call goes out Persians at a narrow pass, Athenians at a Boeotian river, and you take down the shield from the wall of your house. Your wife does not weep where you can see it. She says the single thing every woman in this city says at the door on a morning like this: "Come home with this." And she puts her hand on the painted lambda, or on this, with it or on it. You walk out into the gray before dawn carrying your shield, and the crest of your helmet finally catches the first red sunlight, and the color the city has been earning out of you for 23 years finally meets the sky. You are at the line. The shield is on your left arm. The man next to you is the man you froze with at 12. Your breath comes shallow against the inside of the bronze, the cold of the helmet on your forehead, your hand wet on the doris shaft. The trumpets go. The wall walks. And then, somewhere late in that day, one of those things happens that the city has been engineering for since the morning a woman in a small stone house put down the razor. Either the wall holds, and at dusk, you bend down on the field, pick up your own shield, and walk home with it, and your wife hangs it back on the wall, where the wall does not hold, a long iron point comes through the gap in the bronze, and the men you have known since age 7 lift your body up onto the inside of your own shield to carry you back on it. That is the version your mother meant. Either way, this is the only end the city ever wrote for you. You did not choose it, you were made for it. What was the agōgē then? It was a state, the only one we know of, that took every full citizen son at 7 by law for 23 years and engineered him into a single thing, a piece of a wall, because its economy sat on the labor of a conquered people 7 times more numerous than itself. And the only answer it ever found to that math was to make the smallest possible number of the deadliest possible men. One engineering decision rippling through one human being from age 7 to age 30. You are not a man your city raised. You are a wall the city built out of a boy. There is a stone at the pass at Thermopylae with a line on it that says 300 men once fought from there in obedience to the laws of their city. Another man carved that line with a chisel long after every man in it was dead. You, the boy in the cloak, the youth in the wheat, the man at the line, you are why that line could be carved at all. You were the price. And somewhere 8 generations later, when there are not enough Spartans left to make a single phalanx, a small stone house in Laconia will be standing empty, and on the floor of it there will be a thin layer of dust over the place, where a woman once put down her razor. Another life history for God is waiting. Subscribe.